Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we have to talk about a new record in the Dominican Republic for the month of July 2025 by air. That's all we care about, mostly if you're investors, although cruise as well. Record City for the month of July 2025. Stay tuned and welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for being here. Please share the videos because you never know who's out here looking for information, who needs the information. We have lots of people traveling to the Dominican Republic, lots of people investing, whether it's through creating a business there, whether it's buying real estate or other ventures. So therefore, it's key to pay attention to the numbers. They don't lie. Or do they? Here we are, podcast members, YouTube page members, social media, the podcast page, SSN Nation. There's some videos down here that you should look at. Good Luck Americans. The last series was something, hopefully an eye-opener. But make sure you share this page. All right? Now, let's get into the tourist numbers, shall we? Here we go. 1,000, or the figure to date. This is January 1st through July 31st is this number. 7,197,844 visitors represents, and we'll get into these numbers, a 3.2% increase over the same period. Now, we have to scroll down because this is the one we care about if you're investors on the island. Because once again, do you really care about cruise passengers who are only on land for 5, 6, 7 hours and then return to their ship and take off? Or are you going to be more interested in people that's staying there 7.2 to 8 days every week? That's what we're talking about. The momentum continued in July when the Dominican Republic welcomed 863,785 air arrivals. That's a 6.5% increase over July 2024. That is awesome. Then we have 189,051 cruise passengers for a total of 1,052,836 visitors for the month. That represents 3.4% increase over last year. Those are great numbers. But you guys know, we start checking other sources when things don't make sense. But I'll get into the don't make sense in a second. The United States remained the leading source market, accounting for 52% of arrivals, followed by Canada with 7%. Argentina and Puerto Rico each contributed 6%, while Colombia 4%, Mexico. Remember, when you have 80% of your countries, meaning Canada and America, 80% of their citizens are living paycheck to paycheck during the month, something has to give. Something else of importance for investors, Punta Cana International Airport handled 59% of all air passengers. Up next, Santo Domingo, Las Americas Airport, followed with 23%, and Santiago Cebal Airport with 13%, Puerto Plata only 3%, and La Romana and other airports accounted for 1% each. If you're an investor, I suggest you pay attention to the numbers. These numbers can change over time. But if you have 60% landing in a certain territory, meaning 60% of 7 million passengers total for this year thus far, that's over 4.2 million landing at Punta Cana Airport. The other 3 million are sharing the other 8 airports, with 20 some percent, 23% landing at Las Americas. So therefore, on the eastern side, and 1% for La Romana, on the eastern side, you have 59 plus 23, which is 72% of all air traffic lands in 2 airports. The rest of the island gets the remaining 29 or 28%. That should make you pay attention as an investor, as a business owner. So I just want to point that out. Now, do you want to get to some other real numbers? Because they've been fudging the numbers in their articles, which is a dangerous thing to do because, again, numbers don't lie. So let's get into it a little bit more because we go with, the numbers by Statistics One, Department of Statistics One. This is the source that you care about. Here we are with the real numbers as they discussed. Visitors by air, 5,377,064 passengers this year by air, year to date, January 1st to July 31st, 2025. And that is only a 1.7% change because here it is. 2024 was 5,286,283 versus 5,377,000. This is roughly 90,000 more over 7 months. That's less than 13,000 people. Combined, when you divide that by 7, 13,000 people divided by 4 leaves us a little over 3,000 people per week. Then if you start thinking, what if there's a couple? That would mean you split it by 2, so 1,500 per week. That is nothing to write home about. And meaning that it has nothing to write home about, wouldn't you be more inclined to understand what happens with hotel occupancy rates? Why don't we go look and see? Where's the hotel occupancy rate? 78.5% for the month of July 2025, down 0.1% from the previous year. And by the way, why don't we look at the previous year with tourism? 863,780 in July 2025. The previous year, last year, was 811,188. Again, that's a difference of about 51 to 52,000 more people in 2025. So the question starts to be asked, if you have 50,000 more people, why do you have 0.1% less hotel occupancy percentage? Well, you've added more Airbnbs, short-term rentals, long-term rentals. That could be a thing. Or the makeup of how many people are actually landing on the island may not just be onesie twosies. There might be an average of 3 people landing. We don't know that number. So, let me know what you guys think down below. But as you can see, the thing about 56% are from United States. It was right here where they said, 52, United States remain leading source market, accounting for 52% of arrivals. Wrong. USA accounted for 39% of arrivals. 2.2 million last year. We are down 5%, negative 5% year over year from January 1st through July 31st. Canada, down 5.2%. Their share, 13.8% this year in 2025. So those two countries down does not equal the amount of people, Argentina, Colombia, and Puerto Rico, which for some reason they separated, and UK. That's only Argentina, 281,000. You guys understand how much people make in Argentina and Colombia and Puerto Rico? So you're getting more of these tourists, or visitors, shall I say. I don't know if they're tourists. More of these visitors from these countries that have a lower cost per person that they will spend. So that is a problem. All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the cracks in the wall assimilating. But what can you do? Well, USA and Canadian citizens aren't going to be able to travel as they used to. So therefore, you're going to have to settle for the rest of the northern and western hemisphere and hope that Europeans are willing to travel across the ocean instead of going to the Middle East or Dubai or something. I don't know. But the point of the matter is, maybe there's cracks that's happening because travel to Dominican Republic requires people to have disposable income. And if United States and Canadian citizens can't travel, then what? I want to hear it down below. Again, for all of you that are investors, I have my own ideas. Stay tuned. I should make a video about this, and I probably will because I haven't made one in a while. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, ladies and gentlemen. It's about to get a whole lot harder as there's a contraction in the economies and more people are not on livable wages. Things start getting tighter and tighter, so it will get harder out here. So just stay calm, look at many different sources that you can bring additional revenue in. And with all that said, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.